Hey guys, Sim down here. This is going to be my chapter review to My Hero Academia or Boku no Hero Academia 221, All for One's Parting Gift. Now it's midnight in the UK, and I thought I need to get this review out Sunday, even though it's now technically Monday, but more or less Sunday. So let's get this done. What did we learn? What happened in the chapter? And was it good? And did I enjoy it? I enjoyed it. I think it progresses the story very well. I'm really happy to be moving with the villains as we are now and kind of learning more about them and their motives and what they're going to do in the future and how they're going to entice this doctor guy. But let's go through it kind of chronologically. So Giganta Machia continues to go ape shit, having been so loyal to All for One that he simply can't comprehend and he can't process having to serve a weakling like Shigaraki. But it's not really having to, it's more his choice. But he looks at this guy and he's like, he's weak, why would I want to serve him? And he seems to be the type of guy who enjoys being in servitude to someone who's strong. He needs a leader to show him which way to go, to direct him, which is what All for One it was. So now that he's lacking that, and he wanted Shigaraki to be that next guy, so he's feeling a bit lost, I think, which is why he's reacting the way he is. So apart from the fact that Giganta Machia is freaking insane, the doctor tells us a couple key things. Giganta Machia has unworldly stamina. Is this a result of a quirk, or is it just something that he has innately, apart from having a quirk innately? And the second thing is Giganta Machia is able to use multiple quirks without needing modifications. And I was like, is he? Well, this doesn't. This last point is awesome, but surely it applies to quite a few people. You'd assume. I mean, like, if anyone was given more than one quirk, surely they'd be able to use them and not just explode or anything. Unless I've missed something. It's not like a devil fruit. If one person has eaten more than one devil fruit, supposedly they would die. But I don't think it works like that with quirks. So maybe there's something else to it. But Giganta Machia seems to be able to use multiple quirks without needing modifications. So I think needing modifications suggests like Nomus who have multiple quirks but needed modification in order to house those quirks. So maybe it is not a natural thing. Like, if All for One gave someone two quirks, maybe their mind would start to deteriorate or something, or maybe their bodies would deteriorate. But for some reason, Giganta Machia is able to house multiple quirks if given them, and he doesn't need any mods. So we're told about how All for One predicted his imminent defeat. So he hid Giganta Machia in order to preserve his dreams and his wills for the future, and his will for the future. And Dabi unleashes a fiery attack on Machia here, but this proves useless, much as the doctor kind of predicts at their current power level. He's like, nah, you're not going to be able to touch Giganta Machia right now, maybe in the future. So in order to save them a demolishing or an ass-handing, the doctor plays a recorded message of All for One addressing Machia, which calms him down as he sticks his ears close to the radio, and he just hunches over and he listens to this. He looks like a baby. So Machia for me is incredibly unstable, almost like a giant baby in terms of his mentality. And I'm personally tired of the kind of huge guy with the absent mind trope in all forms of like media stories. But I'm thinking that's what Machia is. But I am interested in Giganta Machia as a character, and I want to see exactly what All for One did for him in the past, why he's so loyal to him. But that trope is kind of like, there's an underlying taste of that trope, and I'm just like, that's something we've seen since like of Mice and Men, and even prior to that. So, it's one of those things, but it's not something I'm against. It's just it's a common trope. So Shigaraki says he doesn't want Machia, but the doctor chastises him here for being so naive and for thinking that the things he does want will just walk into his life. And I like this part because I think what the doctor was trying to get at was he was trying to tell Shigaraki that he needs to learn that no matter what he may think of an asset is an asset, and it's an advantage he'll have over his enemies. So just having any form of asset, he needs to realize that it is what it is. It's an asset. So it doesn't matter about his feelings or whether something will be tedious or not. That's a childish way of thinking. Will it give you an advantage in combat, in technology, in data gathering, anything like that? Will it be of use to you in the short, medium, long term? Assess those things and use it accordingly. So in Machia's case, damn straight he's going to be useful to you in the short term, possibly, maybe not in the short term, maybe medium term, long term, definitely. So it's not about whether you want Makea or not, or whether you want any of these gifts that All For One has left for you or not, addressing Shigaraki here. The foundations have been laid for you. How you use them will prove your worth and your ability. So he has all this empire essentially built for him. Now it's up to him to claim these things and use them in an intelligent way. Display your worth, display your ability. So everyone is then transported to the Doctor's lair using that black oil liquid quirk that was used during the Camino incident. And the Doctor's lab is stacked with at least 12 big-ass test tube vial looking things. I'm not sure what the big-ass kind of Vegeta healing tube things are called. But there's basically a shit ton of Nomus inside, 12 Nomus in these test tubes at the least, because we only see them from one side. Maybe there's a whole corridor of these things. So Dabi mentions that these Nomu look different to the ones he's seen before, which excites the Doctor because he's like, you have a sharp eye there, Legolas, who tells him that these Nomus are leagues beyond the low quality ones that they've seen before and made before, describing these new ones as high end. So that should trigger many like PTSD and kind of awesomeness memories in people. We've seen one of these high end Nomus in action against Endeavour, which looks to be one of the one closest to us on the right in the double spread we get, showing all of the Nomus. Now it's worth remembering that we're looking into the past here, so we've actually seen that high end Nomu against Endeavour, like I said, but we're not sure whether these other high ends have been mobilized, have been given separate tasks, or have yet to be unleashed or anything like that. We don't know where they are, what they've done, or what they're doing. We know that only one of them has been unleashed to the public, but maybe they're doing something more sinister. So the Doctor seems to be an excitable and quirky individual, disallowing anyone from approaching him in order to maintain his anonymity. He's also afraid to threaten. He's not afraid actually to threaten this group of young thugs essentially. And I'm not sure, like, he's there calling them out and stuff, and he's not afraid that they'd kill him or anything like that. So he shows that he either has balls or he's slightly crazy, and I think I'd say it's the latter. Now let's get to the elephant in the room. The Doctor is in actual fact the exact same Doctor who diagnosed Deku as quirkless. Now this is quite hype. I'm just like, how does this fit into the story? Does it have is there a deeper meaning to this? I'm not sure what this is going to mean. Did the Doctor have something to do with Deku's quirklessness? That's what everyone's considering, and many people are saying maybe he did, maybe they stole it. Did All For One steal his Deku's quirk from him somehow at that age? Was he in another room? Did the Doctor extract Deku's quirk somehow and then give it to All For One? Was the Doctor identifying useful quirks in Deku's kind of village for All For One? If he was, why did people like Bakugo still have their quirks within Deku's town? Because Bakugo's quirk seems quite destructive and useful. And did the Doctor did Bakugo simply not visit the Doctor because he possessed a quirk and grew into it normally, so there was no reason to visit the Doctor? Or did the Doctor have nothing to do with Deku's lack of a quirk and therefore everybody else's possession of a quirk, and he simply served as a Doctor whilst All For One hid in the shadows? I mean, like, there's that whole thing of turning his grandson into a Nomu, the Doctor this is. So it's not like the Doctor's just been chilling, but he may have served his community as kind of just a normal Doctor while kind of doing a few shady things in the background here and there, but not really all that often. So there's a whole bunch of different questions you can ask along with this Doctor, but the main one is, was he responsible for Deku's quirklessness or not? I don't really think so. I don't think All For One had anything to do with Deku at a young age. I would really not like to see the story go from we've been watching you since you were 5 days old or some shit like that, like with Aizen and Ichigo and shit like that. Was just weird. I'm just like, nah, I'm not about that life. I wouldn't be about that life if this continued down that way, or if it even started down that way. So I'm hoping it doesn't go down that path, and I don't think Horikoshi would do that. So Shigaraki tells Dr. Eggman, which is what he looks like, or who he looks like, about the bullets, a comment which is casually ignored. The Doctor tells Shigaraki that he had a compromise with All For One. The Doctor offered up his life, his technology, his Nomus, in kind of respect to and in partnership with All For One. But what did All for One offer in return? You don't have a compromise without both parties offering something. So was it protection? Was it the opportunity to acquire technology, quirks maybe, bodies of people for his nomus and stuff like that? There is a female nomu, by the way. Anyhow, Dr. Eggman says he wants Shigaraki to prove he is even worth offering all of his skills to, which is fair enough. And the same thing with Giganta Machia, and straight up tells him and the League that they've done absolutely nothing worth mentioning. And I was like, ooh, this guy is a savage. He's got those balls, big ass balls. And he asks Shigaraki, what are he and his useless crew going to do in the future that is worth his backing, that is worth his commitment, that is worth his time, his effort, his blood? Something which obviously draws Spinner's attention to the situation, seeing as this is exactly what he wanted to know, what he wants to understand. What are we doing? What are we aiming towards? What are our goals? Which is what his issue was before. So now it's down to Shigaraki. He needs to think up of something truly chaotic to offer up to the Doctor to gain his camaraderie, essentially. So that's the end of the chapter. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. We have the One Punch Man podcast hopefully recording tomorrow, so that should be out within the next week. So look forward to that, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys hopefully in a bit.